Well, hello, class. Hope you are doing well. It is the first day of our, I was going to say fall, but holy smokes, it's spring, our spring 2017 semester, in which we will be traveling the road together in PPSY 555, Career Development Theories and Techniques course as part of the Marriage and Family Therapy Master of Arts in Clinical Psychology program here at Azusa Pacific University. Super excited to have you along for this journey. I am looking forward to learning with you. One of the great things about this class is that I've been teaching it now for, this will be in total, by the time we're done with this semester, I'll have been teaching this class for the last 6 years, which is crazy to think about. So I developed it, what was it, let's see, summer and fall of 2011, and have taught it literally every semester since then. So spring, summer, and fall. So I love the class. It never gets old. It's always new information, new dialogue, new discussion. And so one of the things that we'll look at in this class that'll be a little bit different, given the size of our class. We only have 4 students. At least as of today, we may have 1 or 2 more, perhaps, hopefully, that might join us throughout the rest of the week. But right now we have 4, and that's perfectly okay. We're going to look at discussions a little bit differently, okay? So here's what I'm looking for you to accomplish in this first week, I guess I would say, as we journey together so far, okay? So what I'm looking for you to do is get into Sakai, and the class I have to move a couple of things around, so it won't be fully updated until probably this evening, maybe as late as first thing tomorrow morning, which is totally okay. We're just kind of, again, we're easing our way into this. So what we're doing right now this week, there is some discussions, some questions that I want you to respond to, and I'll give some details on that. But I just wanted to say welcome, first of all, okay? So what should you be doing right now? Well, get into Sakai, and I know that a number of us, Sakai is not, maybe it's not our number one kind of the platform we use on a regular basis. Maybe we don't. And maybe we've never taken classes in Sakai. I don't know what your situation is. But I want you just to kind of get a feel for it. Familiarize yourself with Sakai. So you'll get into Sakai at sakai.apu.edu. Log into the class. So obviously it's spring 2017, PPSY 555. -Z1, so it's the first section of the online offering. Get in there and just kind of poke around. You'll notice that the order, at least right now, is not it's not great. Okay, so I haven't fully ordered everything yet. Been finalizing other classes, and knowing that we have really 16 weeks together, we have more time in this class. So I'm working on a couple of things, and I'll get this updated this evening. Okay. You have the syllabus. So really, what I'm looking for you right now at this point is to make sure that you have the syllabus, you've read through it, and if you have any questions, if you've noted those questions, there's a couple different ways you can ask questions that you may have, or concerns, or make comments. One of them is simply email me, okay? So send me a note, and I will respond to you. Typically, I respond within 24 to 48 hours, and usually, if I'm able, I'll respond even faster than that, okay? I will say on the weekends, given the fact that I'm home, I've got 4 young kids with my wife, I'm typically not going to respond to emails during the actual day. If you're looking for a response on the weekends, if it does happen, it will take place typically after 10 p.m. once everyone's asleep and I'm up doing some work to finalize things for the day, okay? So what I would say in that is just plan ahead. So you're not going to plan ahead if you don't plan to plan ahead. So plan ahead. If you have questions and you know that you have something that needs to be answered, right away or quickly, I would say email me on a Thursday. Or, if you have to email me on the weekend, just expect that you won't get a response as quickly on the weekend as you would during the weekday, okay? So in the meantime, again, if you haven't purchased your books, go ahead and get them right away. There's 3 required books, okay? There's one text that we'll dig into 2 of them right away. One of them you absolutely have to have right now, okay? So, and that's Well-Being by Tom Rath, okay? He's the main author there. And that book has to be purchased new. It's noted in the website. When you go to the bookstore, it's on the syllabus. And then if you're in some of the regional campuses, you may have some things posted even some months, if not weeks ago, showing what books are required. And so you need to make sure that that book, Well-Being, is purchased new, because there is an assessment code that comes with the text that you'll have to complete. And if you buy a used one, there's probably I would say 99.9% chance that that assessment code has already been utilized and it's only good for one use, okay? So make sure that you get that book new. If you think it's going to take you a while to get the book, I might encourage you, in fact, I would encourage you to buy an e-version. So go get a Kindle version, which I think is obviously even going to be less expensive than a physical copy would be. And then that comes with, I think, a separate email that gives you the code, and then you can utilize the code to go in and take the assessment. The reason that I'm saying get that right away, make sure it's new, is because you have an assignment that's due relatively soon after the start of our semester on that text, okay? So you'll start reading the book during really Unit 2. You're going to read the whole book next week and the week after, but I would encourage you to get the book right away so you can start reading it ahead of time. You can take the assessment, and then there's a paper due on January 29th, okay? One of the things that you'll notice when you get into the syllabus, if you haven't looked at it already, is that except for Unit 1 and Unit 9, all the other units, so 2 through 8, are 2 weeks long, okay? And even if you look closer, during spring break, you'll notice that's March 6th through March 12th. You will see that actually takes place right in the middle of Unit 5. So Unit 5, if you wanted to factor in that spring break week off, you're actually looking at a 3-week time frame for Unit 5, okay? So go through all that, look at it, see kind of how it works. What I really like about doing these units in 2-week kind of incremental blocks is it gives you, I think, more time to get the reading done. I think it gives you more time to have discussions. I used to do them 1 unit at a time per week, and I tried this last semester, and I think it worked really well, okay? So take a look at that and make sure you pay close attention to that. You'll notice that this first week in Unit 1, what we're looking at is reading Chapter 1 from Anderson and Vandehy. It's a textbook that's titled Career Counseling and Development in a Global Context. I will tell you that from the very beginning of having developed this class over the past now 6 years, I have explored endless number of textbook options. And I have yet to find one that I think does a better job at communicating what needs to be covered in this specific class than this textbook by Anderson and Vandehy. I used to use a book by Scharf, and it's a great book, but it's really more geared towards, I would say, those that are working in career development, career counseling at a university or college level. And while some of you may go and do that, I think that that's a very real reality. I think that probably you will end up working more with adults, typically by and large, when you're kind of in this program, if you were to even go on and do career counseling at all. Not to say that you will, but I think that as you'll kind of gather throughout our time together, you will come to realize how vital and important career development, career counseling is in the greater whole, even of clinical psychology, specifically marriage and family therapy. Okay, so you'll read Chapter 1. There's some discussion questions that you look at in the first unit forum discussion, and that's between now and January 15th. Okay, so each of our weeks, when you look at the syllabus and you look at the course itself, each week will run from Monday to Sunday. Okay, so that gives you the full weekend to complete what needs to be completed during the portion of that unit or the end of that unit. Okay, so I know that the week, starts on Sunday, ends on Saturday, but for purposes of our course, each unit will start on a Monday and run through a Sunday. Okay, so that's important to keep in mind as well. So that's that for this first unit. Next unit starts next week, and then every unit after that until we get to the final one is 2 weeks at a time. Unit 9 is really, it's the final. If you look at it, if you're kind of considering from a traditional undergraduate standpoint, we have finals in undergrad. We typically don't have a traditional final in much of our graduate studies, but in Unit 9, that is basically our final week, okay? And so that whole week you have, obviously I hope you're working on them ahead of time, but you have the entire final week, that final Unit 9, solely to work on your final projects, of which there are 2, okay? And I'm not going to go over them right now. I don't want to bog you down with them. I don't want to overwhelm you with what those assignments are. I would encourage you to spend time reading them and figure out what they are, and then kind of be thinking about them throughout the course of our time together. Let me say this, okay? Given the fact that we're online, okay, the fact that we don't have that regular weekly face-to-face interaction, reading things in the syllabus, reading my emails, watching my videos in full is going to be vitally, vitally important. Paying close attention to specifics is going to make or break, in many ways, your experience in this class. Okay, so I have students in the past, I've had students, I should say, that have not read things closely, that have not paid particular attention to the big and small specific things in assignments, and it's hurt them. It's come back to hurt their overall grade. And so I want to see you be as successful in this class as possible, and so I would encourage you to pay as close attention to everything going on as far as assignments, discussions, all that, as you possibly can be, so that you don't miss anything and end up losing points, which oftentimes occurs because you haven't paid attention to the small specific things in the course itself. Okay, so just want to challenge you in that, to pay close attention to all the details, both the big and the small. Okay, so one other thing I'll mention, and then I think we'll be done for at least this video. Just again, it's a way for me to say thank you for being with us, to welcome you to the class. I'll share a little bit more about me in just like a minute or so. But there are 3 required books. I mentioned that. I didn't finish my thoughts. So one of them is Career Counseling and Development. That's this text. This pen is compliments of one of my children. I've got 4 young kids at home, so one of them colored on my book. The other one is this text, The Treatment Planning in Career Counseling by John J. Liptak. And I've only recently been using this book. I have a love-hate relationship with this text. The love, or I should say, I'll start with the hate. The hate portion of my relationship with the text is that it cost so dang much if you have to buy it brand new. The love portion of my relationship with this text is it is excellent. As far as how you would actually do treatment planning, it is very prescribed, very specific, and I think it's fantastic. I really love the text. I love what's included, and I love that it's short. It's short, sweet, and simple, and you'll spend a good amount of time in that text. So I have a feeling you'll enjoy that. And then the third required textbook is, of course, the Wrath and Harder book, which you're looking at, titled Well-Being, the 5 Essential Elements. You'll notice, and maybe you saw it online, and you'll see it here in the syllabus, that there are then, I think we're looking at 7 what are listed on the syllabus as optional texts. Okay, you must choose only one of these optional texts. I've been doing this now for a couple years. I give options for books for students to read. And there's a number of reasons behind why I've made that decision, but ever since doing that, students have really been grateful. I thank you so much for allowing me to choose a book. You know, so often you take a class, and of course the instructor assigns different books, and that's fine. That's what we do. But every now and again, I think there's an option to assign. Hey, pick the book. Pick what you think might be of more interest to you. So we're going to look at career counseling. Okay. That's the title of the class, Career Development. But in addition to teaching, I also am a career coach. I do career coaching, I do career counseling, and one of the things that I find so often, in fact, I would even say one of the things I find perhaps all the time, is this reality that when they come to me, I need a new job. I'm not going to help you with that. They're like, whoa, wait a second, I just told you I hate my job, I need a new job. Well, okay, that's fine, but if all I do is help you get a new job, then you're going to come back in 6 to 12 months and you're going to say, I need a new job because I hate my job. There's more to what it is that someone doesn't like about their job. And typically, and I would say a large percentage of the time, it's the fact that folks don't understand who they are, how they're wired, what they're called to, what their vocation is. So one of the things that we look at in this class is, yes, we're looking at career development, but we also have to look at this idea of vocation and calling. So that's what you're choosing here. You get to choose one of these books having to do with these ideas, this topic of vocation and calling. And we'll start reading that book later on in the term. But I want to point that out because that is important for you. You don't have to buy all of those optional texts. You only have to buy one. So sometimes people see optional and say, oh, I don't have to buy any of them. Well, you don't have to buy all of them, but you do have to buy at least one of them, but you get to choose which book. Okay. And then lastly, you'll notice that there's a section that says suggested texts, and these are texts that they're just suggested. They're not required. They're not optional. You can get them if you want to. I guess they're optional, but you don't have to buy them. Okay. So lastly, been here 11 years. I have 4 kids. I love this class. I've really enjoyed my time teaching it. I do career coaching. I coach my kids in soccer and baseball, and I'm really excited to teach this class. So if you have any questions, email me, call me. I'll post more later this week. Looking forward to it. I will see you online real soon.